Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
With a knockaway.
Good defense.
Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go.
Double your chances to win all month long in March with two big promotions. On Fridays, embrace the madness and win a share of $150,000 in cash and free play. On Saturdays, starting March 8th, go for the gold and win your share of up to $10,000 in cash and free play in the 80K Fool's Gold giveaway. Enjoy live entertainment all month long and play for your chance to win big in March only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700. I need cameras to capture every waking moment between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. The pregame prayers will be generational.
Because that's preacher and a deacon. That's what we're talking about here. That prayer is going to be 40 minutes. We're going to miss the anthem.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you were able to settle in and enjoy last night's NBA doubleheader, because it was about as good as it gets. Upset in Boston, upset in Oklahoma City. We'll discuss both results momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, around 10:20, Chris Beard's going to join me. He, of course, is the men's basketball coach at the University of Mississippi. They call it Ole Miss for short. The Rebels have only been in the Sweet 16 twice in school history. One of those times was this past March. Chris Beard in year 2 got them there. I'll chop it up with him. We're going to do that in the next segment. Finish talking to Chris, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Memphis has reportedly removed itself from P.J. Haggerty's recruitment, barring some drastic changes. If true, I co-signed the decision made by Penny Hardaway. I'll tell you why in about 40 minutes. In other Memphis basketball news, the Tigers are reportedly going to play in the Baha Mar tournament down in the Bahamas in November. I'll tell you who else is going to be there. We'll do that in just a bit. The Met Gala, it was last night in New York City. Kylie Jenner was in attendance, obviously, but her partner, Timothy Chalamet, was not. I'll tell you why a little later on in the show. The Ravens are releasing future Hall of Fame kicker Justin Tucker. The franchise is calling it a football decision. It's really a decision tied to the fact that 16 different massage therapists have accused him of misconduct. We'll spend some time on that story in the second hour. And remember the man who last week fell over the 21-foot Clemente wall in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
I got good news. He took his first steps in his recovery yesterday.
Oh, good.
And I don't mean like steps like it's a process. I mean like he
walked.
He put his feet on the ground and moved them and made progress. It's a nice update. I'll tell you more about it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start in the NBA because Monday night in the NBA playoffs was an all-timer. Great doubleheader, compelling results. Final score, Knicks 108, Celtics 105. That was in overtime. Final score, Nuggets 121, Thunder 119. That was in regulation. Yes, the lower-seeded, heavy underdog road teams won both games despite trailing big earlier in the night. The Knicks were down 20 points with 18 minutes left, but rallied and won. The Nuggets were down 14 points with 16 minutes left, but rallied and won. Mikal Bridges took Jaylen Brown's ball to seal New York's victory in the final seconds. Aaron Gordon buried a three in the final seconds to secure Denver's victory. Big Bet Bennett on a scale of 1 to 7. How great was Monday night's NBA playoff doubleheader on the anniversary of Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire?
It was pretty incredible, especially that first game.
Did it remind you at all of Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire?
I mean, there was definitely some similarities.
Sure.
There's definitely some similarities.
Sure.
No, I mean, that first game, dude, that was like, that's what playoff basketball is all about. Like, that's as good as it gets in the NBA. Like, every single possession, especially because both teams are like really good defensively and they're just like, they're basically fist fighting without actually throwing punches. And every single possession in that fourth quarter felt massive. And you don't get that in the regular season. Like, that was good stuff, man.
The best. And you wonder, like, okay, how is the nightcap going to live up? And then it clearly does. We'll get to that in a minute. But the big talking point coming out of the Knicks win over Boston is how the Celtics were 15 of 60 from three, which means they missed 45 threes in a 53-minute game. Do you got a problem with that? Do you have a problem with the team missing 45 three-point attempts?
I mean,
in a basketball game.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I will say, like, as it was happening with Jason Tatum down the stretch, I was like, oh, if they lose this game, they're going to point this out, buddy, because he was settling down the stretch of that fourth quarter. I mean, those weren't even good three-point shots. They were just...
Some of them were bad.
Yeah.
But of the 60 three-pointers, 45 of them were uncontested. And Boston missed 32 of those 45 uncontested. So when you hear, whether it's Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Joe Mazzulla say, we just missed a lot of open shots, they're not lying. They missed a lot of open shots. And so where do you fall on this debate that was raging throughout the night and all the way through Get Up this morning on ESPN? The Celtics just won a championship playing this way.
That's true.
They are among the favorites to win the championship this season. They were up double digits, up big in this game, despite missing so many threes. And this is the way they do things. And every once in a while, if you're a high-volume three-point shooting team, you are going to have off nights, but you don't get caught up in that as much as you focus on the process and you understand that based on all of the data available, this is a successful strategy for you, a successful approach, and that you will probably never miss that many three-pointers again, certainly not that many open ones again. Don't get caught up in the results. The process was solid. You took the right shots from the right places. The right people were taking them. You just missed them. Game 2 will probably go differently. Do you subscribe to that? Or, okay, I hear you, but at some point, it ain't working. You got to do something different.
I think you got to do something different. I do. That's what I meant when and I'm not trying to single out Jason Tatum. I love Jason Tatum. He loves the city of Memphis, so he's a great dude.
He spent time here.
Yeah. Every time he took a three down the stretch of that fourth quarter, I was like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. Go to the rim. Get fouled. Get to the free throw line. Like, it's not working.
I can see both sides, but I think I land more on your side here. Like, I always try to think about this and apply it to different sports and different things. And so imagine if you're talking to a two-time Cy Young Award winner in baseball who throws 72% fastballs. 72% fastballs, that's the way he pitches, and he's won 2 Cy Youngs doing it this way, and he might be on his way to a third. And suddenly, he's in a playoff game, and he's throwing 72% fastballs, but he's getting lit up. You can't missed three-point shots in baseball, but the equivalent would be you're missing all these open threes that you usually make. On the baseball side, these fastballs that you usually throw by people are getting hit pretty hard. Do you keep throwing the fastball because I've won 2 Cy Youngs pitching this way?
Sure.
Or do you say, I don't have my fastball tonight. I better start changing speeds a little bit or this ain't going to end well. I think you start changing speeds a little bit.
You start changing it up.
I don't think you just say, hey, yeah, my fastball was getting rocked. I clearly didn't have it tonight, but that's the way I pitch, and I was just going to keep throwing it. I think what you say is you got to mix it up a little bit. In golf, you pull out your driver because you usually hit it straight down the middle, 340, whatever you do. Well, suddenly you're in a round, you're Scotty Scheffler, you can't get your driver in the fairway. Do you just keep pulling your driver out of your bag every hole? Or do you at some point just grab something else and just get something in the fairway? Because you have no control over this driver right now. Maybe tomorrow you put the ball on the tee, hit the driver down the middle every time. Maybe yesterday you could do it, but in this moment you're struggling with it. Do you pull out something else? I think you probably do. And so I understand Jason Tatum saying it was a lot of open threes and we just missed them. We don't usually miss those. This is an outlier performance. It's all true. I just think when you are in a best-of-7 series and every game could be the game that ends your season or extends it, you probably need to switch things up when they're not going well. It's one thing to just play this way over an 82-game schedule. The numbers will be the numbers over time. But in a best-of-7 series, like you're just like 2 of these type of shooting performances away of really finding yourself in a bad spot. To be clear, I don't think they'll shoot like that again, and I still think Boston will get out of this series one way or another.
I do too.
But last night, if you are somebody who thinks they should have switched it up a little bit and got away from the heavy three-point shooting when they couldn't make them, contested or not, I think more people probably would co-sign that than not.
I'm with you. I think it's obviously an interesting series now. MSG is going to be insane for game 3.
No matter what happens in game 2, because worst case, you're coming home 1-1.
Right. So it's going to be a fun series, but it did feel like in that game last night that New York had to scratch and claw their way to a victory, and Boston maybe got a little lackadaisical at times.
That's why I feel fine if I'm Boston. I go, we were up 20, could make a shot. Like, we were fine. Like, we couldn't make a shot and still they needed to rally like crazy to beat us. We'll be okay. I'd still feel okay if I'm Boston, but that was a pretty terrible performance in game 1 of a high-profile series. In the nightcap, the person taking a lot of the blame, Oklahoma City coach Mark Dagenhart.
What?
And not just for blowing a 13-point lead with 6:30 remaining, although that's never good. Most of the criticism is directed at his decision to foul up 3 with 10.7 seconds remaining and Nikola Jokic at the scorers table. Bad decision, I think he would acknowledge this, for 2 reasons. One, you are fouling way too early.
Yes.
In a foul up 3 situation. 10.7 seconds left is just too early. They even know this at the college level. And it's too early for the exact reasons that it played out last night, specifically because you turn things into a free throw shooting contest that you might lose. That's why it's a decision that's poor, independent of who's on the court. But in that moment, Jokic wasn't on the court. By fouling, you allowed Denver to get the best player in the world back on the court. Now, he didn't impact the final few seconds, but if I tell you in that moment, you can be up 3 and Nikola Jokic doesn't get back in this game, don't you probably just play that out?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes.
But they didn't. They foul up 3 with 10.7 seconds remaining, send Aaron Gordon to the free throw line. He makes both. They get Jokic back into the game. Then they're going to foul you immediately because now we're turning this thing into a free throw shooting competition. So now with a little more than 9 seconds left, Chet Holmgren's at the free throw line. He misses the first, misses the second. So now, just a few seconds ago, you were up 3 and Jokic is on the sideline. Now you're only up 1, and here comes Denver with a transition opportunity. Let's watch it together, Kyra.
It rims out. Brown grabs it. 7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by 1. Gordon got it. Aaron Gordon with a deep shot. Williams, three-quarter court, no good. The Nuggets steal game one. That's a winner for Aaron Gordon, 121 to 119.
And they really did just steal it. I mean, that is one of those games where
satisfying.
I heard people talking out in the hall, like, it sounded like people fell asleep in the fourth quarter. I was actually up. I don't know why, but and it was one of those games where until it's over, you don't think Denver's ever winning that game.
Right.
And then it's just like, what just happened? How did it almost felt like go back to Houston Duke in the Final Four. It's like Duke is in control the whole game, winning this game the whole game, and then it just flipped at the very end, and you're like, what just happened? How did that team win and that team lose? That's felt like the situation last night in Oklahoma City. The Thunder in control basically the whole game, but some strategic errors. I don't think there's any question in the final 15 seconds that at least put them in a situation where they were at risk of having what happened happen. And then obviously there's no way around that. Chet Holmgren, that's just choking. I mean, you're a 75% free throw shooter.
Yeah.
And you miss both of those. That's just choking.
Yeah.
And that's why fouling too early is a problem, because you turn a game where you have an advantage into what amounts to a free throw competition. And it's fine as long as you can hit them. But if they go make two at one end and you go miss two at the next, now you're in a tough spot, and you leave Aaron Gordon just a wide open catch and shoot three. Nice delivery from Russell Westbrook. I thought it was nice that Aaron Gordon made a note of that in the postgame. Hey, it's real helpful when you got a Hall of Fame passer delivering you the ball. So good things in Denver. I know not every franchise that fired its coach late in the season flourished once it happened. But it's happening in Denver.
Dude, I love that video of Jokic like coaching them last night in the huddle. Like he is the coach. It's so good.
So Adelman is now the interim coach. And this is just, I saw this morning, like a graphic on television. He now has 5 postseason wins, 5 playoff wins, and 3 regular season wins. He's literally the only coach in the history of the NBA at any point in his career to have more playoff wins than regular season wins, because it's just almost impossible to ever have that as your reality, right? But that is his reality right now. 5 playoff wins, 3 regular season wins, and Denver is up 1-0 on Oklahoma City. If you're curious, the Thunder and the Celtics are still heavy favorites to advance in these series. Oklahoma City minus 320, Boston minus 370. But it is interesting in what amounts to the Elite 8 of the NBA playoffs. We've now had 3 game ones, and the lower seeded underdog on the road has won all 3 games, which sets up tonight's last game 1 in Minneapolis. Warriors at Timberwolves, 8:30 on TNT. We'll get Bennett's pick on that game during GP's carryout. When we come back, Chris Beard's the head coach, Ole Miss basketball. Took the Rebels to the Sweet 16 this season. That's only the second time in school history they've been there. Chris Beard joining me after the break. Scary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished 3rd in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grisby, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're going to get seated this. So who's going to actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We'll talk Tiger basketball in the next segment, update you on the young man who fell over that wall in Pittsburgh at the Pirates game last week. He seems to be doing better. But right now, I'm joined by a man who guided Ole Miss to the Sweet 16 this past season. It's just the second time in program history that the Rebels have ever been there, and Chris Beard was able to do it in year 2 in Oxford. Joins me live from campus now. It's Chris Beard. Hey, Chris, it's Gary Parrish. How you doing on this Tuesday morning?
Gary, all good here.
Hey,
Thanks for having me.
No, man, I appreciate you being here. You're doing me a favor. Let's start with just this past season. Big picture, Sweet 16 for the second time in school history. That's obviously great stuff. When you look back on it, are you able to focus on that, or do you get caught up on the Michigan State game and how things ended?
A little of both, for sure. But I had a chance to kind of reflect a little bit this spring, probably more than normal. Just very appreciative of our players. You know, I think back of our first team at Ole Miss 2 years ago that really laid the foundation. We'll always be super appreciative of those guys. And then last year's team was special. Really, you know, a basket away from the Elite Eight. You know, it started for us with Matt Morrell and Brakefield, those guys that absorbed the coaching change and decided to trust us. It was very rewarding seeing Matt and Brake play and compete and win in the NCAA tournament. And all the other guys on last year's team. It was a special group.
And so you do something that has only once before been done at Ole Miss. You're setting attendance records and really building a culture around the program. One of the things when I'm talking about you that I always point out to other people is that, you know, you've held various jobs and have done unprecedented things at Little Rock, unprecedented things at Texas Tech. Now you're on your way to doing similar things at Ole Miss. You're a young man still. It's not the time to reflect on your career, but do you ever take a moment to appreciate that you've been at different places and done things that have never been done before?
You know, each spring and each fall when we recruit players, we get a chance to talk about our program and what we've built over the years. And that always brings back the memories of all the great players we've had. You know, it was Jamal and EK at Fort Scott. It was Mason, those guys at Seminole. And so all down the line, every job we've had, the thing that always comes to mind is the players. And I think last year's Ole Miss team is no exception. You know, I'll always remember Juju and Dre and all those guys that put in the work.
Talking to Chris Beard here live from Ole Miss. So now year 2 in the books, and almost immediately you have to start focusing on what's next. There's no time to really enjoy anything anymore. You have to re-recruit your team, get into the transfer portal. Have you had a day off, a couple of days off? Is there any breaks after the season for an SEC basketball coach these days?
I can't speak for others, but us, the answer to that question is no. Really, the only time we had to breathe a little bit was at the Final Four. You know, Coach Sampson and I are really close, and so but this year with Sampson being in that, you know, that day Sunday in between the game Saturday in the championship game on Monday. That was kind of one day that we were able to breathe a little bit. Even my daughters picked up on it. They're like, Dad, what's up? You called us 4 times today, and we haven't heard from you 4 times since January. So, but no, not complaining. I mean, we're all blessed to be in this business. Personally, it's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the coach or the player that complains about this. I mean, it's a privilege to coach and play at this level. Is it challenging right now with the portal? Absolutely, but I wouldn't want to trade it for any other life, that's for sure.
It is. It's an ever-changing sport and has changed probably in the past 5 years more dramatically than it had in the previous 30. And I always find it interesting that for literally decades in your profession, you were told this is the one thing you cannot do, and that's offer money to anybody for anything. And now, unless you are quite literally offering money to somebody, you can't even do your job anymore. In recruiting, how much now is the conversation strictly about how much you or your collective can offer a young man? Does every conversation start right there?
Yeah, I mean, all I can speak about is my life personally, what we go through. And that's not the case with us. I mean, I guess you can call us old school, or you can call us the biggest idiot in the room, or maybe we're the smartest guy in the room. But we've really tried to stay away from that. I mean, we're looking for players that are making basketball decisions. Now, is the money a part of it? Absolutely. It's no different from a coach pursuing another opportunity or answering a call about another opportunity. Obviously, the financial situation is part of it, no different than my mom's job and my dad's job when he was still alive. And so, but for us personally, you know, we're still trying to win a championship, and we still think it's basketball, and we still think that we're trying to find guys that are making basketball decisions, but there's no denying that the money is a big factor, obviously.
How much of a role do you have to play at Ole Miss in the fundraising part of it? I know at some schools it's just sort of set up. Like, I don't know that John Shire at Duke has to go out there and bang on doors because it's just sort of in place that Duke is going to have a lot of money to spend in whatever way. How much is it your responsibility to rally people from the top of the state down to the bottom to support Ole Miss basketball in the ways that it needs to be supported?
Yeah, I don't know how much of our responsibility it is, but it is a big interest of ours. You know, I would compare it to building a program with home attendance, student section, something that we've always really enjoyed wanting to do and get in on the ground level, roll up our sleeves and work at that because it's what we want to do. And I compare that a lot to our fundraising efforts here with our collective. We have a great collective here. We have the support from our administration, all the way from our chancellor's desk to Keith's desk. But it's just something that I don't think we're asked to do it per se, but we want to do it because we want to get involved in all areas of our program. Again, very parallel to like attendance. We have a marketing team and things like that. Every program we've coached at, now Ole Miss, but we enjoy that part of it. We like to get hands-on because we want to be, you know, a part of the final product. And so just like we work the attendance on a daily basis, we also try to do our part in the fundraising as well.
Everybody can see the pavilion behind you, jam-packed, and it looks like that most games now. In my lifetime, it has not always been that way. I've told this story before. I grew up in North Mississippi. I had a lot of friends who were Ole Miss fans, but they would call themselves Ole Miss football fans, and then they would support Memphis basketball because supporting Ole Miss basketball didn't seem like a reasonable thing for them to do. It didn't really matter. Now, I don't even know that those people exist. If you're an Ole Miss fan, an Ole Miss alum, you care about football and you care about basketball as well. How have you, and obviously the men before you, but how has it been built into something that is filling up an arena and making people care about it in a way that hasn't always existed?
Yeah, I'd say 2 things. One, we really haven't had to reinvent the wheel. We have not had to build this from the ground level because Ole Miss has had a lot of what I call sneaky tradition. There's been a lot of crowds like the one behind me with Coach Davis, Kermit, with AK, with Coach Barnes, with Coach Evans, with Coach Wetlick. I think the one thing we've tried to do is try to unite everybody and try to make attendance an every game thing, not just the big game. So we've had there's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of people here that care about basketball. It was just getting everybody back under the same umbrella and really setting a higher expectation for all of us, players, coaches, and fans. The second thing, it's been a real team effort here. We benefit from the success that Lane and those guys have had with football, baseball, women's basketball, Olympic sports. So the fan base was already here. True story, I think my second day in Oxford, the baseball team was playing an afternoon game. This was like a weekday, like a Thursday, 3 o'clock game. And I was amazed when I went over to the baseball field. There was 12,000 people at a baseball game in late March on a weekday. And so that just kind of really excited me. Like, if these people are here for a baseball game, then our job is not to find these people. It's just to get these same people to have an interest in basketball. But it's been a great team effort. Not just the coaching staff, not just the players, but our marketing team, our administration, all the way down to the mayor of our city. Everybody has taken an interest in basketball, and it's been really rewarding watching what we've been able to build so quickly.
The SEC has been the best football conference in the country for a while. It's been the best baseball conference in the country for a while. This season, it became the best men's basketball conference in the country, and arguably, and there's a lot of data to support this, the greatest basketball conference we've ever seen in any one season. What was it like coaching through that?
It was challenging for sure, but at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. Our coaching staff, myself included, we've all coached at different levels. And so from time to time this year, on the night before a game, we were having our final preparation meeting. If anybody made a comment like, man, this is a gauntlet, or the pressure of this, we all just quickly reminded ourselves that it really is a blessing to be in this spot. Every game's an NCAA tournament resume type game. I know when we coached at Little Rock, Angelo State, some other places, you dream for these opportunities. So I think it's just that balance of, yes, there's a lot of pressure. Yes, it's not easy, but we're all blessed to be here. I think if you ask any coach in the country, hey, every conference game on your schedule, would you like to play an NCAA tournament team? Then at some level, the answer will be a hard yes. And so last year's SEC play was a lot of fun. It was challenging. And I think it really prepared us all for the NCAA tournament. I think we had, 7 teams in the Sweet 16 or something like that, and that wasn't surprising.
7 teams in the Sweet 16, 2 teams in the Final Four. Florida wins the national championship. Did you see that coming? Did you know Todd Golden had a national championship team? And if so, how early?
Yes. I was one of those teams after the first couple of weeks of the conference schedule. I thought Missouri had a team that could win 6 games in 3 weekends. I thought we did. Maybe our margin for error wasn't as big as Florida or an Auburn. But we were definitely deserving. Just look at the teams that we beat on last year's schedule. That kind of speaks for itself. But I thought Florida did a good job getting better throughout the year. Specifically, in my opinion, just my opinion, I thought their defense really improved. And by the time the Final Four hit, I thought their defense really was the difference in their 2 games in San Antonio.
Wrapping up here with Chris Beard, head basketball coach at Ole Miss. Last thing before I let you go, you've continued the Memphis series. It's on the books for this upcoming season down in Oxford. How important is it, if at all, is it to continue that series with the University of Memphis? And how important, if at all, is the Memphis market in terms of recruiting for Ole Miss basketball?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of alumni, donors, fans in the Memphis area. As you know, Gary, we're only an hour straight shot down the highway. Hit the outlet mall and you're halfway there. That's kind of my purpose. Also, I just have great respect for Penny. I mean, in non-conference scheduling, we're trying to find the best teams. We're trying to play NCAA tournament teams. That's a challenge for schools. We don't all have the built-in brand to go out and just get those. I mean, our deal is we'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere. That's not an arrogant statement. That's just true. And so for the Memphis Ole Miss game, I think it makes a lot of sense. Penny is a courageous scheduler. The way he's built that program speaks for itself. I'd like to think that we're in the same category. We seek good competition. I think it's a game that makes a lot of sense for both fan bases. It makes a lot of sense for both teams. And so we played Penny when I was at Texas Tech, and we'll continue to play this series as long as it makes sense for both sides. But I have a lot of respect for Penny and what he's doing there, what he's done there. and what he'll continue to do there.
That is Chris Beard, head basketball coach at Ole Miss. Took the Rebels to the Sweet 16 this past season in just year 2. Man, it's been awesome watching what you've continued to build down there in Oxford. As a lifelong Mississippian, it's fun to see, and I can't wait to get my family back down to Oxford this upcoming season. Thank you for being here, man. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Gary. Have a great week.
All right, buddy. That's Chris Beard, head basketball coach at Ole Miss. Took the Rebels to the Sweet 16 in year 2. And just the second time in program history, that program has advanced to that point in the NCAA tournament. When we come back, turn our attention to Tiger basketball. A report about P.J. Haggerty saying Memphis is out of the recruitment of the All-American guard unless there are some drastic changes. We'll dive into that story next. It's Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
We're going to do our pick 6 favorite Outkast songs in honor of Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Elevators is the most creative.
Me and you.
Yes. Your mama and your cousin too.
Every time I hear somebody say me and you, I
just go to the next one, right?
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 Doors Down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
The other thing that came out this week that we were talking about innovation and Nike and all that, they dropped these $900 hyper boots that
900.
I mean, they're a recovery shoe apparently that you wear after sports, whatever.
Who's buying it? Because all the athletes that we see, they're going to get seated this. So who's going to actually pay $900 for this?
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
Who's going to be the tougher team that rebounds and prevents second-chance opportunities?
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Memphis is reportedly removing itself from the recruitment of P.J. Haggerty unless something drastically changes. That, of course, is from Hitman Hoops on X, formerly known as Twitter. According to Hitman Hoops, Memphis had made the biggest offer among Memphis, NC State, and Ole Miss. P.J. Haggerty has, to this point, declined to accept that offer, and now Memphis is reportedly moving on unless things change drastically.
Interesting.
Bennett, as somebody who is wearing a Tiger hat right now,
yes,
do you agree with Penny Hardaway's decision to move on from P.J. Haggerty unless something changes drastically?
It does seem like that he might have overplayed his hand here a little bit with the demands. I think he's obviously a great player. You would love to have him instead of not have him. I think he's going to be one of the great players in college basketball this year, wherever he ends up. But you've got to put a roster together. Like, you can't just wait around and hope that PJ Haggerty is going to eventually decide to return. Like, you have to put a team, because if he doesn't, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You have to be able to put a team together, and it starts right now. I mean, these guys are signing left and right.
That's right. I said it last week, and I believe it more today than I even did last week. I would move on. Or at the very least, I would tell him we're done. I would have already done it. I wouldn't leave any qualifiers here unless things change drastically, because that leaves an opening. I would make it clear to PJ Haggerty. I would have already made it clear to PJ Haggerty, unless you accept this offer right now, we are done here. We're not talking again. There's no coming back from this. Reportedly, they've put $3 million on the table. Reportedly, that's the biggest offer among the Ole Miss, NC State, Memphis trio that we've heard about, although I have heard another school came in and offered even more money than that, but whatever. This is where I would be with PJ Haggerty right now. Would have already been if I'm Penny Hardaway. We offered you $3 million. I believe $3 million is going to make you one of the 10 highest paid college basketball players in the country next season. Maybe top 5, but certainly top 10. I feel comfortable with that. And if you don't accept that, then you're not looking for reasons to stay. You're looking for reasons to go.
That's very true.
Then go.
Because the thing is and listen, this I'm kind of starting to feel this way. I wonder if maybe Penny feels it's like, dude, look at the success you had coming here. I mean, granted, that's because you're a great player, but like, we had a little something to do with that.
You could come back here and try to be a 2-time consensus first or second team All-American, which would put you in rare company among Memphis basketball players. Might be the type of thing that gets your name in the rafters someday. You just won a conference championship. You were just the conference player of the year. You were a consensus All-American, and we're going to give you more money than you could have ever reasonably imagined you were going to make playing college basketball, make you a top 10 player in terms of compensation in the country, and you will be on a team projected to win your league and go back to the NCAA tournament.
And more money than we've probably ever offered any player.
Outside of Keith Lee.
Outside of Keith Lee, okay, fair enough.
I don't know if that's true.
It's not on record.
It's not on record. Yeah. I don't even know if you could put $3 million in a shoebox in the trunk of a car. But if you could, I bet they'd have tried it. If you could, I bet they'd have tried it. If all of what I just said isn't good enough for you, if you'd rather just go play at a random place for similar money in, better league, but for a team that's losing, go ahead.
Yeah.
We will take this $3 million and we'll buy the best other players we can. And here's the thing. You know what? And this is where I'm really at on this now. Do you know what Memphis would be with PJ Haggerty at the cost of $3 million? You know what Memphis would be? The favorite to win the AAC and thus make the NCAA tournament. You know what Memphis will be without PJ Haggerty?
The favorite to win the AAC.
And make the NCAA tournament. Do it without him. I would rather do it with him. But at this point, he's not looking for reasons to stay. He's looking for reasons to go. Then go.
I feel the same.
Then go. We gave you every reason you could possibly want to stay. We paid you. We've offered to pay you more. We've put you in a position to succeed. We've allowed you to collect accolades, win games, play on big stages. And if all of that's not good enough, then you don't want to be here. And that's fine, but just say that. Don't say, well, I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're looking for reasons to leave. You should leave. You should leave and we're done. The only thing I don't like about that report is unless something changes drastically. Because what that does to PJ Haggerty, what it would do to me if I were PJ Haggerty, is it wouldn't make me feel like I'm under pressure to make a decision. It would make me feel like, well, if I can always go back to them. I would want him to know there's no coming back from this. If you don't turn around and walk back in this door right now, The door is locking, all right? Like, seriously, I love you. If you need me to talk to NBA general managers for you, happy to do it. But when we hang up this phone, don't call me again asking if we still have money. Don't have your dad call me. Don't have your agent call me. The second we hang up this phone, we're done. That's the way I would do it. That's the only way you get him to make a decision. That's in any walk of life. If you leave people multiple choices forever, they will consider those choices forever. The only way you get somebody to make a decision is you have to make a decision.
Deadline, yep.
And I don't want to say that's the only way, but that's the best way. That's the best way. Otherwise, you let him drag you along, and he's just out there. He thinks he's got the $3 million offer just sitting over here. He could take it whenever he wants. Now I'm just trying to see anybody else want it? And eventually somebody else is going to throw it at him, and he'll go. He's just looking for reasons to go at this point. Let him go. Move on May 6th. Don't wait till May 16th. Don't wait till June 4th. Don't wait till July 17th.
Yeah.
Move on now.
And I've kind of said this to you over these past couple weeks where it looks like we've seen where this thing's kind of headed. I care way more about the potential Dane Danger waiver than what's going on with this PJ Haggerty situation, because I think they have a big problem right now as far as their roster goes. And I think that you said that probably seems unlikely.
I don't know. I don't even want to be. My history with waivers in the NCAA is all over the place.
Yeah.
I've seen waivers that I thought should be granted get denied. I've seen waivers that I thought should get denied be granted.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one, there was, this was a long time ago, transfers into a Big 12 program. I'm talking to one of the assistant coaches. And I'm like, so you guys trying to get a waiver for so-and-so? They're like, yeah, we're trying, but like, we don't know. I was like, so what's even, because at this point you had to, it had to be like a hardship waiver. Like the reason I moved to this school, Elliot Williams is a good example. Got the waiver to transfer from Duke to Memphis because a family member was sick. And the NCAA stamped it.
Yep.
So, Big 12 school, they applied for a waiver. And the young man had moved to this campus, and they were just like, do you have anybody who related to you who lives in this state? And he was like, yeah, my father. My father lives in this state. They're like, holy God. Really? Your dad lives in this state, our state? Like, yeah. Oh, man, this is amazing. We're going to put it down on the hardship waiver that you needed to move. Is it possible your dad's sick? Have you ever heard your dad cough? Because you need to be closer to your dad. He's like, well, no, I haven't really talked to I don't really know my dad. Like, what do you mean you don't really know your dad? Well, he's in prison. The young man had he'd met his dad twice. His dad was in prison in this state. They applied for the waiver so this young man could be closer to his father. NCAA granted it. He'd never really met his father. He was not moving to the state to be close to his father. He doesn't even know his father.
Right.
But the NCAA stamped it. You don't know with these things, right? Yeah. You don't know. So I have no predictions on Dane Danger's waiver. I just know that counting on waivers can be disappointing sometimes, right? So we'll see. But with Haggerty, I would just, I don't know how else to say it. I would give him a hard deadline. I would have already given it to him. And if he doesn't accept it, I don't quite literally block his number, but that's what for all intents and purposes, that's what I do. We're not talking anymore. We've moved on. We wish you luck. Imagine your wife came to you and said, hey, I've enjoyed our relationship. And you've whatever the equivalent of $3 million is to you've done everything you could do to make me want to be here. And I might be here with you, but I need 2 months to just go out and see if I can find anybody better than you. And if I can, then I'm gone. But if I can't, I'll come back to you in 2 months. Just hold still for a second.
Yeah.
I'll be back. How's that go over?
It doesn't sound that far-fetched. I don't think it would happen. I don't think that would happen.
And obviously, It's not apples to apples, but you get the point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let PJ Haggerty out there running around the country soliciting offers with the understanding that if he doesn't get the money and or the school that he wants to come to the table, he can always come back to you. I would let him know coming back to me is no longer an option unless you do it right now. And I'm not going to this is not going to be one of those things where I'll call you back tomorrow and say, okay, I know I said yesterday was the deadline, but today's the deadline. We're having one last conversation, and you are either recommitting to me or we are moving on, and we're not talking about it again. That's where I would be with it. I don't know if that's where they're going to be with it, but the best chance you have of getting PJ Haggerty to turn around is by telling him, if you do not turn around now, this will not be here for you. You are walking away from the possibility of ever having your name hanging in that building, from the possibility of being your conference player of the year, because I don't care where you go, whether it's to an ACC program, an SEC program, a Big Ten program. Here's two things I feel reasonably sure of. You will not be the player of the year in your conference in the preseason because you're probably not going to be on a team that's projected to finish at the tip top of your conference. Probably. All right? So you're walking away from that stuff that is available to you at Memphis. You're walking away from the opportunity to be a two-time All-American at this school that hasn't produced a lot of those. Walking away from the chance to have your name hanging in FedEx Forum forever. And you're walking away from $3 million. If you're comfortable doing that, do it. But do it now. We're not doing it next week. I'd make him make that decision. I would make him walk away. And at the end of the day, he might just want to play in a league that doesn't have UTSA and East Carolina in it. You know, that might be it, which I understand, which is, if true, another reason why you've got to get out of this league, even if it's not to the Big 12 or the ACC. The new Pac-12 is better than this. The new Pac-12 gives you better games than the AAC gives you. It just does. You might be on the verge of losing a player who doesn't want to play in your league anymore. That's a problem. That hasn't really been a thing for Memphis.
No, it hasn't.
You know, Derrick Rose didn't say, I'm not playing in Conference USA. Chris Dillis-Roberts didn't transfer out of CUSA. Losing players over your conference affiliation has not really been a Memphis basketball thing over the years, but it might be right now. All of these are real problems, but I would not let PJ Haggerty just sit out there and shop himself while I'm waiting to see if he'll come back to me. Go shop yourself, but this door's locking behind you. We're going to give your money to somebody else. That's where I'd be now.
Number 2.
In other basketball news connected to the University of Memphis, it's been reported that the Tigers are going to play in November in the Bahamas, the Baha Mar tournament, and the other teams expected to be there. Purdue, Wake Forest, and possibly Texas Tech. If it's Purdue, Wake Forest, and Texas Tech, Purdue's going to be a preseason top 5 team.
Yep.
Texas Tech's going to be a preseason top 10 team. So you got an opportunity to get some.
That's big.
And I would imagine they put Purdue and Texas Tech on opposite sides of the bracket because those are the on
big
paper,
brands, yep.
Those are going to be the better teams there. So you probably open with either Purdue or Texas Tech. And if you win, you would get the other one. If you lose, you probably get Wake Forest. So, scheduling aggressively again.
Yep.
And that's even why it's more important to get your roster in place ASAP, because Purdue's roster is going to be good. They already got their All-Americans, recommitted him back. Texas Tech, JT Toppin, Big 12 Player of the Year. He's already recommitted and back in school. Didn't even test the process, get in the transfer portal. He said, if you got the money, I'm going to stay right here. They said, here's the money, $4 million reportedly. So Texas Tech's going to be good. Purdue's going to be good. If you don't have a roster that puts you in that same conversation, it could be a tough trip to the Bahamas.
Yep. Parth put out their non-conference schedule so far, and they've still got 6 spots they've got to fill. Right now they got New Orleans at home, UNLV at home, that Baha Mar hoops tournament, San Francisco at home, and then Ole Miss and Mississippi State both on the road. So the home schedule is not looking great right now, but he's still got 6 spots to fill, so hopefully he can get a couple, or at least one like really signature home game here in the non-con. I wanted to, since you brought this up, I loved Chris Beard's answer about the Ole Miss Memphis series.
Yeah,
that was just, he is spot on with what he said there about how, and this is exactly the argument that I've made about Rick Barnes in Tennessee. Yeah, it obviously makes sense with recruiting and you're close to each other. You do it for the fans, man. You do it for the fans. He was like, we have a big alumni base there. Like, they want to see that game.
That's right.
You know?
And for whatever reason, they tried to play a game at the Lander Center, and it just doesn't work for some reason. Like, they can't, I don't know if it's a marketing thing, but whether, like, Mississippi State and Ole Miss both came to the Lander Center this past season.
That's right.
And I don't think either one of them, like, draws well there. And I don't know if it's just like people don't want to go to the Lander Center or people don't want to go to South Haven, or it's a little too far from Jackson, Mississippi.
Sure.
And if you're in Oxford area, you're just like, well, I'm not going to drive up to South Haven to see them. I can just see them at the pavilion.
Yeah.
And if you're in Memphis, maybe you're...
Well, here you got more stuff to do.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't work. But, like, playing at the Lander Center hasn't worked. But you still, if you're Chris Beard, these are his words, not mine, like, want to have a presence in Memphis, like recruiting, alums, all of that stuff. And so, he left it a little open-ended, like, as long as it makes sense for both programs.
Yeah.
But that seems like a man who has no problem continuing to play Penny Hardaway's program for years to come. And if true, I love that. I think these games are important. Like, if I were running the Memphis basketball program, stuck in a league that provides basically 0 games that are of interest to your fan base, I would be trying to schedule games, specifically games that are of interest to your fan base. And those are going to be regional SEC schools for the most part.
Yep.
Ole Miss will always matter to Memphis fans. Tennessee will always matter to Memphis fans. Arkansas, Mississippi State, to a lesser degree, of Vanderbilt and Alabama. But like any regional school where you might work or live close to somebody who cares about that school or attended that school, that's a game that's always going to matter. Whether those programs are good or bad, the brand of Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, those brands matter to Memphians and Memphis fans. And so if I were running the Memphis basketball program, I'd try to get as many of those as I could, because at the end of the day, don't ever forget this. We get caught up on strength of schedule and all that stuff. At the end of the day, what you're really trying to do with this, it's a business. It's entertainment. You're trying to create compelling events that make your fans want to buy season tickets, drive downtown, park, eat, drink, cheer. Getting SEC schools that they care about is a way to do that. I would argue the best way to do that. The best way to do it is build like an awesome basketball team. But Memphis had a top 25 basketball team all season and didn't draw well to FedEx Forum. So it's not as simple as just, if you get a good team with good players, the people will show up. That might have been true once upon a time with Tiger basketball. It's not true anymore. Last season is evidence of that. So you need compelling games that people say, I would like to go to that. And Ole Miss in a home-and-home series alternating between Oxford and downtown Memphis is at least one of those that your fans can care about. So I give Penny a lot of credit for scheduling the way that he schedules, being aggressive with it, and also Chris Beard for being willing to, schedule Memphis presumably into the foreseeable future.
Number 3.
Met Gala was last night. Did you watch it? Did you have any of it on last night?
Well, I watched like the red carpet.
It's a weird event.
You can't see the gala.
Yeah,
the gala is a secret.
You can only. It's like a weird thing that we do. You turn it on and you just watch people walk into the Met, and then you don't know what's going on inside.
Like, I still got no idea what happens in there.
What are they doing inside?
What goes on in there?
I think
what goes on in there? Oh, will it get freaky in there? I mean, some of the outfits are.
I think they probably had to cut down on their freakiness.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a freaky Met Gala on day one of the Diddy trial.
You cannot.
I mean, just think in New York City last night, you had the Met Gala and the Diddy trial.
Yeah. Woo. Wow. Yeah. We put it like that. Yeah.
Kylie Jenner was there.
She looked great.
She did, didn't she? Didn't she look great?
Yeah. What was the theme? Do we know the theme?
I didn't pay attention to the theme. I mean, there is a theme.
Was it French?
You don't have to do this. I hate it when people guess.
Was it French?
Met Gala themed. See, this is about one of my big...
I'm going to say it was a French theme.
Okay, good. This is one of my... Tailoring black style. What does that even mean? The Met Gala 2025 theme is super fine, tailoring black style, which is inspired by the Costume Institute spring exhibit. Blah, blah, blah. What does that even mean? I don't know what that
means.
If somebody told me, GP, we're going somewhere tonight, there's a theme.
Yeah.
And I said, cool, what's the theme? and they said superfine tailoring black style, I'd be like, I don't know. That sounds risky.
Yeah, some people had like clocks on their
That was Flavor Flav. You're thinking of Flavor Flav.
No. That was at Riverbeat. No.
Okay.
No, some people had like what are those things called? What I used to have one. The clocks that are like on the chain. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little what is that thing called?
A clock on a chain?
What are those things
You're thinking
called?
of Flavor, a necklace.
No, that people like wore in like a
pocket watch.
The Gilded Age. Yeah, pocket watch. Is that a pocket watch? I guess so.
What is that called?
I don't know. Anyways,
watch on a chain.
Lot of those
watch on
people's.
A chain. It's called. Let's learn some stuff today. Yeah, it's called a fob watch or a pocket watch.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't mind having a pocket watch.
I had one before, and I'll be honest, it felt cool. Like I'm just saying, I had one a long time ago, and I felt cool wearing it.
You feel less cool now?
Yeah, like I kind of want another one. The best suits last night were the ones with the pocket watches on them.
Well, I wonder if you can just get a pocket watch on Amazon. I bet you can. Let's see. Pocket watch. I'm going to buy one right now.
Okay.
Man, you get one for $9.99. You want one? You want one? I'll get you one.
I don't know if I want one that's $9.99. I'll have to take a look at it first.
Well, what would you prefer? Gold or silver?
Mine was silver, but I'm more of a gold guy.
I'm more of a silver guy.
Is that a silver ring? I have a gold.
I have silver.
I have gold. Traditional.
I don't like gold. I will not wear anything gold.
Why?
I don't know.
Gold is cool.
I think
gold is better than silver.
I would not wear anything gold.
I mean, it literally is better than silver, but like
in terms of like
value, right?
Olympic medals.
And value, right?
Is gold worth it? Stop asking questions that you can Google. This is my pet peeve. I hate it when people do this. They'll be like, who was in that movie? Just type it into your phone and it'll tell you who was in that movie. You don't have to wonder. It is 2025. There is no sense in wondering about anything ever again.
Yes, gold is more valuable than silver. 1 ounce of gold is trading for around $2,040, while 1 ounce of silver is trading for around $25. Whoa. So, like, this is worth yours is bigger, but this one's worth more.
My ring's probably like 4 cents.
Yeah, dude. I want a gold pocket watch.
Okay. I'm going to get you one. I'm going to get a silver one. The brand is Real Poo.
Real Poo? Well, that's why it's $9.99.
Why would you name a brand Real Poo?
Sounds really unappetizing. I don't like that.
I sometimes wonder about how. Now, I'm in no position to question why people name
things what they do.
I mean, like, I could name this anything, and we just went with the Gary Parrish show. So I'm not that creative myself. But I feel like if somebody came to me and was like, I'm going to start a watch brand, I'd say, what are you going to call it? And they'd say Real Poo. I'd be like, what? That's not smart. Same thing, those guys over at the Field of 68. You know them fellas?
Yes.
Why would you start a brand called the Field of 68 when the NCAA tournament is going to expand at some point, and now you're going to be tied to the Field of 68, and it's going to be a Field of 72?
I think you just got to change the name.
Well, when branding, people will tell you that's the worst thing you could do is keep changing your name every 3 or 4 years.
Fair enough.
The only person on the planet who didn't know this is Elon Musk.
That's true.
Met Gala was last night. That's what we were talking about. Kylie Jenner was there. Didn't she look nice?
She looked great.
Yeah. She was solo, though. Solo Kylie Jenner. Her partner, Timothée Chalamet, was not in attendance. Do you know why?
He was watching the Knicks game.
He wanted to just watch the Knicks game.
Yeah. He's a diehard Knicks fan. I didn't even have to Google to know that.
Are you similar in the? You and your wife are invited to whatever the equivalent of the Met Gala is. All right. She wants to go. You otherwise would go, but the Titans are in a playoff game at the exact same time. Are you going to the Met Gala? Or are you telling your beautiful wife, you have to go without me? I'm going to get my gold pocket watch, sit at home, and watch the Titans game.
Dude, my whole big family was in Disney World once upon a time when the Titans were playing in a playoff game during the middle of the day. And while they were all having fun, I was literally sitting on a bench watching the playoff game on my phone.
I think I watched a World Series game or certainly a playoff game from Disney World as well.
Yeah, so yes. I mean, dude, if a Grizzlies regular season game in October, I'm watching on my phone if we're out doing something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I would miss the Met to watch a game that big.
I respect it.
Yeah,
I respect it. That's how you know his heart's in a his heart's in a
true
real
diehard.
He ain't messing around. And you see Kylie quietly supporting him.
What'd you say? Go Knicks.
Well, she posted some photos. I don't know if you know this about Kylie Jenner, but sometimes she posts photos.
Yes. Okay, I'm familiar.
She posted photos over the weekend, and she was wearing a Knicks hat.
How about that?
She was supporting Timothy Chalamet.
How about that?
Sounds like a good partner.
It does sound like a good partner.
The closest thing for me to this was several years ago, my grandmother's birthday. And, you know, I hear everything fourth hand. Nobody really communicates with me too well. I just hear everything from however it gets to me.
Gotcha.
But nobody really talks to me directly.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what happened, but nobody tells me anything anymore. So I get, I hear like fourth hand, like, hey, grandma's birthday is Thursday, and we're all going to dinner on Thursday night, grandma's birthday. I said, that's the night of a wild card game. Mets are in a wild card. I love my grandmother, but I can't. Who playing this?
Yeah.
And they were like,
did you take into account?
Did you take into account the Mets are in a playoff game? And no, nobody took that into account. I was the only one who cared about that. And I didn't even believe that anybody should have taken that into account.
I believe that.
It's actually pretty, I don't know what the right word is, but it's something unappealing about assuming your grandmother's birthday party should be planned around a Mets playoff game because of you.
I disagree.
I'm one of like 15 grandchildren, and my grandmother's birthday party should be planned around my baseball team's playoff game.
See, that's why I plaster the magnet schedules on my refrigerator every year. So it's just front and center. Whenever we're making plans, make sure to get an eyeball on that magnet schedule.
Yeah, but I think I'd have had to get a Mets magnet schedule for everybody in my family. And we've reached the point, I don't even know everybody in my family anymore. I don't even know everybody in my family anymore. Have you reached the point where you don't even know everybody in your family anymore?
No, my family's not that big.
Like if I
know everybody.
Like we don't really do Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's the sad thing, honestly, about your grandparents passing. Do you have grandparents still?
It splits up the Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Do you have
no,
grandparents
I
still?
do not. No.
I don't either. When you growing up, we always went to grandparents' house, and then when your grandparents pass, like that is you start to lose touch with your cousins. You just do. That's where you always would see your cousins, is at your grandma and granddad's house.
Yeah, that's true.
But when your grandparents pass, you don't do that anymore. So, if we were to just like have a family reunion
so weird
now,
that you just said that.
What happened? What did I trigger?
No, I was because my cousin got married this past weekend, and like we were like
you went
talking.
there. Did you know everybody at the wedding?
Oh yeah. But I'm close with my cousins, but like we were talking about how our parents are getting older and everything. We were talking about how we need to like stay closer as we get older.
You won't.
So it's just wild. Yes, we will. We live in the same neighborhood. We'll stay close.
I live 5 minutes from my.
It's a you problem.
From. Two of the cousins that I grew up with live within 5 minutes of me, and I haven't seen them in 6 months.
I think you need to pick up a phone.
You're probably right.
I think you need to pick up a phone.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah.
So they were like, Grandma's birthday is, whatever night. And I was like, so rather than the entire family, some of whom I don't even know, that was my point. If we were to have a family reunion tomorrow, we reached the point where people would show up and they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so's daughter. And I'd be like, I don't even know that was a person existed. When was that person born? I would like that. We've reached that point. I should probably pick up a phone.
Yeah.
Rather than go to a restaurant during a Mets game, I literally rescheduled the entire party for my house, catered the whole thing. I bought everybody's dinner. I mean, spent however much money, it doesn't matter. But the point is, it was worth that to me.
And everyone thought you were the best.
They were like, oh, isn't Gary so sweet?
Except your wife, who knew what you were doing.
It was really an act of selfishness. It was one, I can pay this amount of money and get what I want. I work hard. I'm going to pay it. I want to be in my home watching. There's actually pictures. I see.
Everyone's having fun.
Everybody's
sitting on the couch sulking.
No, I'm standing at the bar in my house. Like there's a picture. I can see it right now in my head, and I'm like this. focused on the TV. Like everybody else is like celebrating each other. And I'm just locked in on Noah Syndergaard. So that's my closest thing to Timothy Chalamet. I just said, we're having, guys, we don't need to have grandma out at the restaurant this late at night. Why don't we just make it relaxing? Everybody just come to my house. I'll take. Yeah. Okay, what should we bring? Don't worry about it. I got everything. I got it covered. Just bring yourself in. Bring your appetite.
Yep.
Bring yourself in your appetite. And I looked like I was the best grandson. Really, I was just the most selfish.
Whatever, it worked out.
It worked out. The Mets lost that night. But
of course, that was karma. Yeah.
The Mets lost that night, but Timothy Chalamet, the Knicks won last night.
Yep.
So
I bet he had a great time.
Yeah,
who needs the Met?
Yeah, probably Kylie probably came over after the Met Gala, so you get to watch the Knicks game, celebrate a Mikal Bridges steal in the final seconds, and then you get to probably watch Netflix with Kylie Jenner.
Sounds like an amazing day.
What a Monday!
Yeah,
what a Monday!
God, I wish I was a celebrity.
God, man, I wish you were a celebrity too, Bennett.
Number 4.
The Ravens are releasing Justin Tucker.
Okay.
You have a problem with this?
Well, I mean, I remember a very similar situation. That guy got a huge contract.
But that guy was Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He got a huge contract, but people still thought he was good.
Do they not think Justin Tucker's good anymore? I mean, he did miss a few kicks this year.
Yeah, he stopped making kicks, and I don't think this investigation, all these he's known this stuff is coming for a while.
Yeah,
I think he got distracted. He lost focus.
Maybe that's true.
Lost focus.
I mean, they did draft a kicker this year,
right? And that was the first sign that this is what they were going to do. Yeah, and they're calling it a football decision, but it's not a football decision. At best, it's a football decision in this way. He's not as good as he used to be, and we ain't going to deal with all this other stuff if he's not excellent. The real question would be, what if he was still the best kicker in the world? Would you release him then? He's not the best kicker in the world anymore. He used to be, but he's not. I mean, this is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
If he were the best kicker in the world, would you keep him under these exact set of circumstances? I don't know. But he's not the best kicker in the world. But what he is somebody who's been credibly accused by 16 different massage therapists of misconduct during massage sessions. It's just like Deshaun Watson. He was going to all these women.
It's the same thing, yeah.
It's the same thing. He was going to all these women and acting inappropriate with them. And Allegedly, but this is one where nuance, I think, is important. We went through a phase in this country where it was like, you must believe all women. If a woman says something, you have to believe her. And that just logically never, I'm respectful of the sentiment, but logically that makes no sense to me. Because what that insists is that there's no scenario where somebody would make up an allegation. And we all know that that's not true. Let me be clear. The overwhelming majority of allegations against men are credible allegations. But that doesn't mean nobody's ever lied. So just believe everybody. Like some woman just walks in here and says, Bennett Doyle sexually assaulted me. Like we just got to fire you immediately. I don't know. I'm not real, anybody could ruin anybody's life just like that. That seems, I don't love that. But when 16 different women say the exact same thing about you, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Period.
16's a big number.
When 16 different women who don't work together are all saying the exact same thing about you, and lots of them are declined to reschedule you, multiple massage therapists in the Baltimore area refused his service. He was banned from going back. Like, imagine, where do you go to get massages in Memphis? Gould's, that's one, right? What's another one? Imagine if you heard you had a friend and he had been banned from 3 different massage therapists in town. Like, oh yeah, did you hear about so-and-so? No, what happened? Well, he can't even go to Gould's anymore because he was allegedly getting wild with the therapist. And then, so he started going to this other place. Then they banned him from that place too. And then he went to this other place and they banned him from that place too. You would think that's crazy, right?
Yes.
That's what happened to this guy.
Yeah.
That's who he is. And you know what he says? Well, they just want, They just wanted to ban me for what? What? You are a dream client. Do you know what these massage therapists want?
Rich people.
Rich people who make appointments constantly. Like if you could go get your hair cut every day for $275, they'd love to have you. They'll book you every day.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing a massage therapist would appreciate more than a wealthy client who comes all the time. Probably could have phrased that differently.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Probably could have said that a little differently. You know what I meant.
I know what you meant.
Who shows up for appointments all the time. That's the best. So why are they telling you no, they don't want your business anymore? It ain't because you're a good client. It's because you're a creep. Yeah. I think he has credibly been accused of being a creep. And given that he doesn't make every kick that he attempts now, this is a convenient time for Baltimore to move on.
I think that's probably true.
It's probably true.
That's probably true.
Treat your massage therapist with respect,
That's
please.
right.
Please.
That's right.
Go in there and just treat your massage therapist with respect.
Yeah.
All right? Jesus Christ.
Number 5.
Remember that fella who fell off the Clemente wall last week in Pittsburgh? 21 feet.
How's he doing?
He's better. He's getting better. It's a long road to recovery, but he's getting better. It looks like he's going to survive and be okay, but it's a long road to recovery. But he did take his first steps, literal first steps.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
so he's not paralyzed.
Not paralyzed.
Good.
That is good, because what we now know, like this isn't in dispute anymore. The morning after it happened, people were still wondering, like, did he jump? Was it a suicide attempt, or did he just fall? All of that, the questions seem to have been answered by now. It appears that he was just
drunk,
blacked out drunk, and like leaped, and then he fell off went over the railing. He was just drunk. He could have died just from getting drunk at a baseball game.
Yeah. Yikes.
It is yikes. But like, I'm genuinely happy for this guy that he feels like it's good. Because we've all been blacked out drunk before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine just thinking
I don't know if I go there.
Imagine just going to a baseball game, getting blacked out drunk, and the next thing you know, you'll never walk again. What happened?
Oh, that'd be a tough pill to swallow.
That's a tough one, man.
It would be.
I certainly don't think I've ever been at risk of falling over a rail at a baseball game or anything like that. But like I've been, we've all drank too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know people do, like life's in because people drink too much.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. But if this fella gets a second chance, not only am I okay with it, of course I'm okay. I'm happy. I'll allow it. I'll allow him to live. I'm glad that this sounds like it's going to have a positive ending, because I don't know. Just ask somebody who has had too much to drink at certain points in my life. The idea that you could actually ruin your whole life or end it at a baseball game of all places. Like, this ain't even one like, yeah, he drank and then got in the car and then ran into a tree. He was just drunk at a baseball game.
At a Pirates game in May. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I mean, you just must feel like the biggest idiot in the world anyway, to just be laying in a hospital bed. Like, what happened? I just got blacked out at a Pirates game.
I would like to think I would change my ways. Like, that would be a sign.
Then maybe you need to chill.
Yeah, get it together, buddy.
Yeah. Like, I used to have a buddy like that. He would he wouldn't jump over railings, but like, there was a point in every night where he was going to lock in on somebody, and it was going to be a confrontation. There was going to be if it wasn't going to result in a fight, it was only because the other person would walk away and be like, yo, this is crazy. What are you doing? And just walk away. But if this guy happened to engage somebody who was also on edge, it was going to be a fight every time. Like, I mean, just walk out in the parking lot, punch out a window, just like stuff like that. Every time you were at risk of something like that, right? At some point, you got to, man, if every time you drink like this, you end up punching out a window, maybe you shouldn't drink like this.
Yeah. Every time that you're getting, hey, and you've got it on video. So, like, every time that you think you might be stepping over a line, just watch that video replay.
Yeah. You got so drunk that you almost killed yourself at a Pirates game.
In May.
In May.
Yeah.
All right? You need to calm down. You don't seem like you're capable of just drinking and having a good time.
Right.
You leaped over the Clemente wall in May. All right? I'm glad Buddy's going to be okay.
I'm glad he's going to be okay, too. I am, too.
I am, too. Nobody should die at a Pirates game.
No, they shouldn't.
If we don't agree on everything, we should be able to agree on that. Nobody should die at a Pirates game. All right?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Be back with GP's Carryout.
We talked a little bit about Jalen Wells. Jalen Wells, man, he finished third in the balloting for NBA Rookie of the Year. He's going to be back. He's going to play in Summer League, and maybe he'll shoot some left-handed jumpers out there. Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
With a knockaway. Good defense. Durant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting. Let's go.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
This week, we're going to run down the hits and the misses from WrestleMania 41.
The main event, NXT title on the line, Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. One of the greatest triple threat matches I've ever seen in my life.
I'm shocked.
And it made history because it's the first time there's 3 black men highlighting the NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
That was dope, too.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
How about Mr. Irrelevant coming from the Memphis Tigers? Yeah, how about that? New England Patriots
Second
took
time.
Memphis defensive back Kobe Minor with the 257th overall pick.
If you're the player getting drafted at that spot, it's almost better to go undrafted and pick a place as an undrafted free agent to sign with where you have a better chance.
But you get a lot of stuff. You get a parade. I think you go to Disneyland, I believe.
Mr. Irrelevant goes to Disney?
I think so.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on the NBA playoffs because Monday night was an all-timer. Both road teams, lower-seeded teams, heavy underdog teams won in dramatic fashion. Nuggets come back from 14 down. Knicks come back from 20 down. Mikal Bridges, big steal in the final seconds to secure New York's victory. Aaron Gordon, 3 in the final seconds in transition to lift the Nuggets to a win in Oklahoma City. So right now, we have 4 playoff series going, 2 in the East, 2 in the West. 3 game ones have been played, and the road team, the underdog, the lower-seeded team, has won all 3 games. I actually think that makes all of this more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it, no matter what happens in those game 2s, as we noted earlier, just a math thing, every one of those series goes back to the underdog team, tied 1-1 at worst. And if the road team can win a game 2 to back that game 1 victory, now you got some higher seeded teams that people were penciling into the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals in real trouble on the road. So anytime a road team wins game one, it changes the whole dynamic of the series. And we got 2 of those last night. We got another one tonight. We're going to get Bennett's pick here in just a second.
Okay.
Hit your little stupid button.
Right. What's today's biggest game?
I'm taking you to the Target Center.
Okay.
It's another game one. 8:30 tip on TNT. It's the Warriors and the Timberwolves. It's Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards. It's Jimmy Butler back in Minneapolis, a place he once raised hell had to get removed. Like, there's all sorts of like little subplots in this series.
Some good storylines.
Okay, so like Minnesota fans hate Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
Because of the way he acts.
Draymond.
And they hate Draymond because he tries to choke Rudy Gobert all the time.
Yeah.
You've seen the story. It's an old story, but it got resurfaced this week. The Anthony Edwards Golden State workout story.
Yeah. And you have to watch the video as opposed to just reading the transcript, because the transcript makes it seem like Anthony Edwards is like F them. They didn't know me.
No, he was saying it like it was an eye-opening experience for me.
That's right.
For people who don't know the story, Anthony Edwards, in advance of the draft that he went number 1 in, went to work out for the Warriors. That draft, I guess it was Minnesota picked first, and then was Golden State 2, and that's the year they took James Wiseman.
It had to have been.
And then 3, I guess, was maybe Charlotte, and they take LaMelo Ball, something like that. Anyway, Anthony Edwards is working out for Golden State, and he's going through a drill, and Steve Kerr is like, "Is that as fast as you can go?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going. I'm going." He's like, "That's it. That's as fast as you can go." He's like, "Well, Steph." He's like, "Steph does it, 3 times as fast, whatever." And Anthony Edwards is like, Anthony Edwards is like, "I thought I was working hard," and they were like, "Yo, you're in slow motion." And Steve Kerr flat out told him, "We don't have the number 1 pick, but if we did, we would not take you."
Instead, we're going to take James Wiseman.
Well, in fairness, they never had the chance to take him.
That's right.
But he flat told him, like, we would not take you. And it's silly to think about now, but that was a real thing connected to Anthony Edwards coming out of Georgia.
Yeah, bad team.
First off, you never won. You seem unserious. Just days before the draft, he said, whether it's true or not, he said it. He said, "Yeah, I don't even watch basketball." So it was like, guy's always joking around. The Warriors say he doesn't work hard. Couldn't win a game in the SEC, and doesn't watch basketball.
Red flags.
Lots of them.
Yep.
Don't ever go look this up.
Where'd you have him?
I pushed him down.
Did you?
Not too far, not down to 9, but down to 4 or 5. Because I was like, do you really want to spend the number 1 pick on somebody who's got all those qualities?
You were a LaMelo Ball, right?
I thought LaMelo Ball should go number 1 in that draft.
Yeah.
And clearly it should have been Anthony Edwards, but like LaMelo would not have been.
He's the second best. Yeah.
What I really did believe is that the Warriors should take LaMelo Ball at 2. And they felt like they needed a big as opposed to another ball dominant guard. Whatever. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I got you.
So Anthony Edwards was like creating all these red flags in advance of the draft that there was some thought it could cost him the number 1 pick, but it didn't. He went number 1, and clearly that was right. And what it should teach all of us as we get ready to break down prospects again is that we get caught up on what we think an elite basketball player should be and how he should act and conduct himself. And it's just not always necessary. I guess there's a world where you would like everybody to be wired like Kobe Bryant and in the weight room at 5 o'clock in the morning. And, Kobe's famous thing was like, if you get your first work in at 5 and your second workout in at, 10, well, you've done 2 workouts before most people even get into the gym. Like, he had that kind of mindset. And I guess that's awesome, but you don't have to be that way. There was a story like Craig Hodges the other day, former Bull, was telling a story about Michael Jordan, left shoot around, went to the bar, drank beers all day, came back to the game buzzed at the very least, and had 30 at halftime. Like, that was Michael Jordan. And the thing that they were getting caught up in was like, and the main motivation, or at least among the motivating reasons for Dallas to trade Luka Doncic, is because they thought he drank beer. The greatest player ever was drinking before games. Can somebody do the job or not? Yeah, you'd rather your best player not go drink at the bar between shoot around in a game, but like Michael Jordan did it and won 6 titles, and he's Michael Jordan. Not everybody has to be the most serious basketball-minded person in the world. Anthony Edwards clearly isn't, but he's awesome. And so you have that as a backdrop for this as well. Anthony Edwards talking crazy. Draymond's always talking crazy. Draymond and Rudy hate each other. Fun series.
Oh, I'm excited.
How are you going to pack? Minnesota minus 6.5. I should update you on your record. 220, 201, and 4. Negative 2.5 units.
Okay.
You're almost back to 500.
Okay, and got a win last night.
Yeah.
Yep, with the Knicks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're almost back to even.
It feels like a quick turnaround. I'm going to go Timberwolves here. This feels like a tough spot for the Warriors. Quick turnaround. Timberwolves are rested. I think the Timberwolves just have a better roster in general. I don't think that's debatable. But Warriors still have Steph and Draymond and Jimmy Butler. I'm going to go Timberwolves, but I think it's going to be a good series.
Bennett is laying the 6.5 points with Minnesota tonight. Tip at 8:30 live at the Target Center.
What are we watching on TV?
Have you started the Four Seasons yet? Are you familiar with the Four Seasons?
This is that Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Yeah, and
Tina Fey.
Coleman Domingo.
Coleman Domingo, Tina Fey, Steve Carell.
I have no idea what it is, but when I saw the cast, I was like, well, that sounds like something I would want to watch. I love all those people.
Here's a description.
Okay.
Lucky for you, I have a description.
All right.
6 old friends head for a relaxing weekend away, only to learn that one couple in the group is about to split up. Ooh. The 3 couples, Kate and Jack, Nick and Ann, Danny and Claude, are completely upended by the news. Over the course of a year, we follow the friends on 4 vacations and watch how this shakeup affects everyone's dynamic, sending old issues and new bubbling to the surface.
Is this a show or a movie?
Show.
It's a show.
Yeah, I think it's a show.
Okay.
But I should confirm that. I'm going to confirm that for you. The 4 seasons. It is on Netflix. And it appears to be a show.
Okay.
It is number 2 in television shows today. It has 8 episodes. They're around 30 to 35 minutes each. So it seems perfect.
I'm in.
Seems digestible.
I am in. Steve Carell's, I think his career's been up and down since The Office. Wouldn't you say? As far as just quality?
It feels like he's in some good stuff.
He's been in some good stuff.
But nothing really pops out to me.
That's right. He hasn't been in anything that's just like, oh, that's Steve Carell's like masterpiece, right?
Nothing pops up.
Yeah.
Does Steve Carell have a masterpiece other than Michael Scott?
So the one that he was in that movie with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, that was great. The rom-com, I can't remember what it was called, but it was awesome.
Looking at movies. Beautiful Boy. Did people like that?
Great movie. Mm-hmm. That's him and Timothée Chalamet. Mm-hmm. That is a great movie. It's hard to watch, but it is great. Okay, so I might have to take back what I said.
But back in the day, he had Knocked Up. People like Knocked Up?
No, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Well, he was in Knocked Up, too.
Steve Carell was in Knocked Up?
Yeah. No, he technically was. That's not. I was thinking of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
He was technically in Knocked Up.
Okay.
Like a small part, but he was in it.
Gotcha.
Had Anchorman. You didn't like Anchorman. 40-Year-Old Virgin. That's
a classic. That was when they were filming The Office, though. Yeah. That was during The Office.
All right. Well, hey, let's give him a shot.
Yeah.
Let's give him a shot. Can we give Steve Carell a shot?
Yes, I will be watching.
Okay, let's give him a shot. We're going to give him a shot. 4 seasons streaming right now on Netflix.
What's the best thing we've read?
Over at ESPN.com, Jeff Passan, baseball writer, has surveyed Major League Baseball front office executives in an attempt to find out, after Juan Soto signed a $765 million contract with the New York Mets this offseason, who will be the next player to get a $600 million contract in Major League Baseball? He said he surveyed however many executives, and only one name was mentioned by literally every executive as the next $600 million man in Major League Baseball. Can you name him?
Ellie De La Cruz.
No. But plays the same position.
Oh. I don't know.
Gunnar?
No way.
Henderson.
No way.
Every executive said he'll hit free agency at 27.
I mean, I love the guy, but you got to show it to me first.
$600 million.
You got to show it to me first.
He is not on the Soto trajectory right now.
He's descending,
but he plays a more important position.
He does.
And that would play a role. Like Juan Soto plays right field.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about right field, but
Right.
shortstop's important.
That's true.
I don't know, but I know this. If he's really worth $600 million, you ain't gonna keep him.
No. The Orioles don't sign their guys. Give me a break.
Oh, he will go the way of Manny Machado.
Yeah, of course he will.
He will be a Padre someday.
Yes, he'll definitely be somewhere else.
He could be Francisco Lindor's backup. We'll let him play backup. We'll let him back up Lindor.
That's fine. That's fine.
He could back up Lindor.
I want players that win games. That's what I want.
Yeah, I got the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even. I click on the power rankings, and it doesn't even like look real to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I click on I'll go to CBSSports.com, MLB power rankings.
Yep.
Number 1, Mets. Doesn't even look real. I don't ever remember seeing that again.
How about that? Yeah, you better screenshot that.
I'm gonna screenshot. I can make it my screensaver in my phone.
Yeah.
So Jeff Passan says Gunnar Henderson is going to get $600 million someday. You can read it right now, ESPN.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Wednesday. Chris Vernon will join me. We'll look back at tonight's NBA playoff games. Get ready for tomorrow's NBA playoff games. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. It's me back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.